Good morning, pre-K. Hope you're having a great day. Let's go back since it's Tuesday one more time. We're going to go over our sight word, no. N-O, no. There are no cookies. Oh my goodness. You could see cookies are upset. There are no cookies in the cookie jar. Maybe you can help make some. Let's go back. On Tuesday, we like to rhyme our words, so we came up with some words that sound like no on the end. So, no toe, no whoa, no go, no low, no snow, no row. All right. You may not know this word woe. It means trouble or sadness. Sometimes you'll hear someone say, woe is me. That means they're having a rough time. So, let's see if we can make a sentence with all these words. It'll probably be pretty goofy, but let's see. I may not be able to do it, but he went out in the snow to go for a row, but he hit his toe and whoa, he felt low. Okay, let's get on to Wilbur. Remember that today is the next to the last chapter. Wilbur's excited. So's Mrs. Dean. Except that at the same time I'm sad because I always hate to finish a book. I always love them so much that I don't like to get to the end of them. So, when we stopped yesterday, Wilbur had gotten a very special award and he had fainted. He was so embarrassed, excited, and everything else that he had fainted. And Templeton climbed out of the crate and bit him on the tail really hard when no one saw him, and that made Wilbur pop back up from his faint. And they gave him a lovely medal, and they gave Mr. Zuckerman $25 prize. So now everybody is very happy, and this is the last day at the fair. Last day, Charlotte and Wilbur were alone. The families had gone to look for Fern. Templeton was asleep. Wilbur lay resting after the excitement and the strain of the ceremony. His medal hung from his neck, and by looking out of the corner of his eye, he could see it. Charlotte, said Wilbur after a while, why are you so quiet? I like to sit still, she said. I've always been rather quiet. Yes, but you seem especially so today. Do you feel all right? A little tired, perhaps, but I am peaceful. Your success in the ring this morning was, to a small degree, my success. Your future is assured. You will live secure and safe. Wilbur, nothing will harm you now. These autumn days will shorten and grow cold. The leaves will shake loose from the trees and fall. Christmas will come, then the snows of winter. You will live to enjoy the beauty of the frozen world, for you mean a great deal to Zuckerman now, and he will not harm you ever. Winter will pass, the days will lengthen, the ice will melt in the pasture pond. The song sparrow will return and sing, and the frogs will awake, and the warm wind will blow again. And all these sights and sounds and smells will be yours to enjoy. Wilbur, this lovely world, these precious days. Charlotte stopped. A moment later, a tear came to Wilbur's eye. Oh, Charlotte, he said. To think that when I first met you, I thought you were cruel and bloodthirsty. When he recovered from his emotion, he spoke again. Why did you do all this for me, he said. I don't deserve it. I've never done anything for you. You have been my friend, replied Charlotte, and that in itself is a tremendous thing. I wove my webs for you because I liked you. After all, what's a life anyway? We're born, we live a little, we die. The spider's life can't help being anything but a mess with all this trapping and eating flies. By helping you, perhaps I was trying to lift up my life a trifle. Heaven knows, anyone's life can stand a little of that. Well, said Wilbur, I'm no good at making speeches. I haven't got your gift for words, but you have saved me, Charlotte, and I would gladly give my life for you. I really would. I'm sure you would, and I thank you for your generous sentiments. Charlotte, said Wilbur, we're all going home today. The fair's almost over. Won't it be wonderful to be back home in the barn cellar again with the sheep and the geese, and aren't you anxious to get home? For a moment, Charlotte said nothing, and then she spoke in a low voice. A voice so low Wilbur could hardly hear the words. I will not be going back to the barn, she said. Wilbur leapt to his feet. Not going back, he cried. Charlotte, what are you talking about? I'm done for, she replied. In a day or two, I will be dead. I haven't even enough strength to climb down into the crate. I doubt if I even have enough silk in my spinnerets to lower me to the ground. Hearing this, Wilbur threw himself down in the agony and pain of sorrow. Great sobs racked his body. He heaved and grunted with desolation. Charlotte, he moaned, Charlotte, my true friend. Come now, let's not make a scene, said the spider. Be quiet, Wilbur. Stop thrashing about. But I can't stand it, shouted Wilbur. I won't leave you here alone to die. If you're going to stay here, I shall stay too. Don't be ridiculous, said Charlotte. You can't stay here. Zuckerman and Lurvy and John Arbel and the others will be back any minute now, and they'll shove you into the crate and away you'll go. Besides, it wouldn't make any sense for you to stay. There would be no one to feed you. The fairgrounds will soon be empty and deserted. Wilbur was in a panic. He raced round and round in his pen. Suddenly he had an idea. He thought of the egg sack and the 514 little spiders that would hatch in the spring. If Charlotte herself was unable to go home to the barn, at least he must take her children along. Wilbur rushed to the front of his pen. He put his front feet up on the top board and gazed around. In the distance, he saw the Arabels and the Zuckermans approaching. He knew he would have to act quickly. Where's Templeton? He demanded. He's in that corner, under the straw, asleep, said Charlotte. Wilbur rushed over, pushed his strong snout under the rat, and tossed him into the air. Templeton, screamed Wilbur, pay attention. The rat, surprised out of his sound sleep, looked almost dazed and disgusted. What kind of monkey shine is this? He growled. Can't a rat catch a wink asleep without being rudely popped into the air? Listen to me, cried Wilbur. Charlotte is very ill. She only has a short time to live. She cannot accompany us home because of her condition. Therefore, it is absolutely necessary that I take her egg sack with me. I can't reach it. I can't climb. You're the only one that can get it. There's not a second to be lost. The people are coming. They'll be here in no time. Please, 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 Templeton, climb up and get the egg sack. The rat yawned. He straightened his whiskers, and then he looked up at the egg sack. So, he said in disgust, so it's old Templeton to the rescue again, is it? Templeton, do this. Templeton, do that. Templeton, please run down to the dump and get me a magazine clipping. Templeton, please lend me a piece of string so I can spin a web. Oh, hurry, said Wilbur. Hurry up, Templeton. But the rat was in no hurry. He began imitating Wilbur's voice. So it's hurry up, Templeton, is it? Ho, ho, and what thanks do I ever get for these services? I would like to know. Never a kind word for old Templeton, only abuse and wisecracks and side remarks. Never a kind word for a rat. Templeton, said Wilbur in desperation, if you don't stop talking and get busy, all will be lost, and I will die of a broken heart. Please climb up. Templeton lay back in the straw. He lazily placed his paws behind his head and crossed his knees in an attitude of complete relaxation. Die of a broken heart, he mimicked. How touching, my. I noticed that it's always me you come to when in trouble. But I've never heard of anyone's heart being broken on my account. Oh, no. Who cares anything about old Templeton? Get up, screamed Wilbur. Stop acting like a spoiled child. Templeton grinned and lay still. Who made trip after trip to the dump? He asked. Why? It was old Templeton, who saved Charlotte's life by scaring that horrible boy away with a rotten goose egg. Bless my soul, I believe that one was old Templeton. Who bit your tail and got you back on your feet this morning after you had fainted in front of the crowd? Old Templeton. Has it ever occurred to you that I'm sick of running errands and doing favors? What do you think I am? Anyway, a rat of all work? Wilbur was desperate. The people were coming. The rat was failing him. And suddenly he remembered Templeton's fondness for food. Templeton, he said, I will make you a solemn promise. Get Charlotte's egg sack for me, and from now on I will let you eat first. When Lurvy slops me, I will let you have your choice of everything in the trough, and I won't touch a thing till you're through. The rat sat up. You mean it? He said. I promise. I cross my heart. All right, it's a deal, said the rat. He walked to the wall. He started to climb. His stomach was still swollen from last night's gorging. Groaning and complaining, he pulled himself up slowly to the ceiling. He crept along till he reached the egg sack. Charlotte moved aside for him. She was dying, but she still had strength enough to move a little. Then Templeton bared his long, ugly teeth and began snipping the threads that fastened the sack to the ceiling. Wilbur watched from below. Oh, I've got to show you that picture. There's Templeton. He's climbed up and he's snipping loose the little spider silk threads that are holding the sack with all the eggs in it. Yeah, you probably, I don't know if you can see that, the little dot right there. That's Charlotte. Use extreme care, he said. I don't want a single one of those eggs harmed. The thuff flicked through my mouth, complained the rat. It's worth that caramel candy. But Templeton worked at the job and managed to cut the sack adrift and carry it to the ground, where he dropped it in front of Wilbur. Wilbur heaved a great sigh of relief. Thank you, Templeton, he said. I will never forget this as long as I live. Oh, neither will I, said the rat, picking his teeth. I feel as though I've eaten a spool of thread. Well, home we go. Templeton crept in the crate, buried himself in the straw. He got out of sight just in time. Lurvy and John Arable and Mr. Zuckerman came along at that moment, followed by Mrs. Arable, Mrs. Zuckerman, Avery, and Fern. Wilbur had already decided how he would carry the egg sack. There was only one way possible. He carefully took the little bundle in his mouth, and he held it there on top of his tongue. He remembered what Charlotte had told him, that the egg sack was waterproof and strong. It felt funny on his tongue, and it made him drool a bit. And of course, he couldn't say anything. But as he was being shoved into the crate, he looked up at Charlotte and gave her a wink. She knew he was saying goodbye in the only way he could, and she knew her children were safe. Goodbye, she whispered. Then she summoned up all her strength and waved one of her front legs at him. She never moved again. Next day, as the Ferris wheel was being taken apart and the racehorses were being loaded into vans and the entertainers were packing up their belongings and driving away in their trailers, Charlotte died. The fairgrounds were soon deserted. The sheds and the buildings were empty and forlorn. The infield was littered with bottles and trash, and nobody of the hundreds of people that had visited the fair knew that a gray spider had played the most important part of all. No one was there with her when she died. And that is the end of Charlotte. But it's not the end of our story. We have one more chapter, and it is called A Warm Wind. And while it's very, very sad that Charlotte is gone, we're about to learn some very, very good news, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So, I will see you tomorrow for the finish of Charlotte's Web. and I'll show you what the prize is, okay? Have a great day. I miss you guys. Bye.